All right. All right. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am so excited to have these two ladies with me today. Um, they have really I don't know, they've been life-changing, right? In my interactions with them, kind of goofballish, but also like bosses and just killing it in their industry, which is all things hair and healthy hair specifically. And so welcome to the Keys to the Office podcast, Lenise and Star. I'm so excited.
Hey.
Hello. All right. So Lenise is my hairstylist, and Star is her partner in crime for all things hair. And I asked them to join us today because a few
Her
of
husband.
husband, I was going to share the rest, but let's dive in, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's 2022. Yeah, like I've learned so much from Lenise specifically. I'll share with you all, and I know you've noticed, like I literally just had her cut and color my hair, and part of it was her advisement, right? And then the healthiness of my hair since then, and even before then, because she's been doing my hair for years, phenomenal. Like you sit in the chair and you get a lesson, and I hear the same thing with Star and her clients. You get a lesson on how to embrace your hair, how to take care of it, right? They're not about just, sending you out looking good if your hair is not healthy. I'll even tell y'all, if y'all don't follow Lenise, she just posted something the other day about a Labor Day barbecue and not eating the bad stuff and yada, yada, yada. But we'll get into all that. So I'll pause here. Can you tell the excitement is just like bubbling? Lenise and Star, please introduce yourselves to the Keys to the Office family.
Go ahead, Dad.
Okay. Okay, so I guess she's my daughter today. We don't know. It depends on the day.
Which keep it fun.
So I am Lenise of the Lenise and Star duo. Lenise Robinson, to be exact. Been in the industry for about 14 years now, and this is a second career for me. So I'm having a great time. It's my passion. And I absolutely love what I do. I'm a mom. I have a 21-year-old broke best friend. And I love him dearly.
Call it what it is. I got one too.
Love him dearly. I'm a veteran. And I'm also an educator for Mizani. So this is my virtual classroom, my virtual setup. But I love what I do. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for saying yes. And Miss Star, thank you for saying yes too. Tell us who you are.
So I'm Star Davis, owner of Healthy Hair Republic in Richmond, Virginia. I've been doing hair for really since I was 5, if I'm being honest, but officially on the books about 14 years. Yep. And I don't know. I've always wanted to do hair, like literally since I was 5. It's one of those things. It's like you have a dream and then you end up living out your dream. So this is all I've pretty much done. I am a college graduate on the low. And I do have one son. His name is James. And I am so proud of him. He just started a new daycare and he didn't get kicked out yet. So yeah.
I mean, can we just clarify that James is a dog? Because people are really going to think that this is a whole human being and it's an actual dog.
Wow. Wow. I did not interrupt you during your segment.
I let you finish. I let you finish before I interjected that fact.
I think the clarification was needed for the people. Okay. So thank you, Winnie.
Okay, fine. Yes, he is a K9 technically, but so yeah, that's my story. Yeah.
Yes. How did you two meet?
We started working in the same
was it a site or is it something we can talk about?
No, we actually just started working in the same salon here in Richmond. Shout out to Image Enhancement Center owned by Dion Hughes. Yeah. But we met there. Actually, we met at, she had a birthday bowling party, and that's where Star and I met right before we both started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it love at first sight?
No. And I'm gonna tell you why.
No.
No, the girl was strict. Mama was strict, y'all. And it wasn't even that she was strict. At that time, I'm 18.
She
And
was
so
a mess.
I was a beautiful caterpillar trying to blossom into a butterfly.
That's one way of putting it.
Right. A mess. And so when I saw her, I was like, dang, she fly. But she was too professional for me, y'all. I was still in the hood. And I was like, nope. And then we started working together. And I found out that all of that I assumed was true. She was very professional. And she kind of reined me in slowly. So
yeah, Star was something else. But on the flip side of that, I could not do hair like to save my life. Like I couldn't do a lick of hair. And Star was always she was always an amazing stylist. So while Star was kind of all over the place in terms of her professionalism, I helped her in that arena, and then she just helped me technically. So it was a really good partnership from the beginning.
Mutually beneficial. I love it. I love it. So you wanted to do this from the time you were like yay high to a grasshopper. And Lenise, you chose a different first career. Talk to me about the transition from career 1 to career 2, kind of what led to that and how difficult was it?
So the thing that led to it was really being deployed. So like I said, I'm a veteran, and when you sit overseas in the middle of Baghdad and you hear rockets going by, it changes your perspective really quickly. So I started my bucket list, and I wanted to go to Africa. So I went to Africa. I wanted to shave my hair off, and I always wanted to go to cosmetology school because I just enjoy, although I did not like getting my hair done growing up. I'm very tender-headed. I always enjoyed the relationship between stylist and client, going to the salon. So it was on my bucket list, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I was 27, so I was a little older than the students in my class. But I went, and then even after going to cosmetology school, I still was fearful of leaving my corporate job, my good corporate job. I was in IT, I was traveling. It was a very secure job, but my heart just wasn't in it. So I just kept telling myself that I was going to be an entrepreneur by 35. Actually, I put it on Facebook, so the memory comes up quite often. Wow. And I just saved and saved and saved. And what the final straw, the catalyst was my coworker passed away. And she passed away kind of swiftly. Like we learned she had cancer maybe in, I don't know, September. And I'll say by April, she was gone. And I was like, no, that cannot be me. So her whole life was work. So I decided to leave, and that was it. I had been doing hair part-time, and I was already burnt out just because between juggling the full-time job, my son and his sports schedule, and salon life, it was just a lot. So at 35, I left, and
haven't looked back.
No, have not.
Pay you to go back to corporate, Kobe?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I love it. So, question for you, Star. You wanted to do hair at 5. You mentioned going to college. What did you study?
So originally I went in to be an OBGYN. A lot of people don't know that, but so I was pre-med. Yep. And I quickly realized that was not going to happen. I was like, you're doing more hair in the dorms than you are going to class, and so you probably should give an exams. It was a lot, actually. And so then I ended up just getting my associates of education at Reynolds, and with the concentration on science. But I still always wanted to do hair. That was just kind of one of those, your parents were saying, you probably should just go to college and that, a complete waste of my time, not anyone else's time. But mine, because I still went back to my first love.
And I think that's important, right? when we start talking about formal college brick and mortar education, right?
Yeah.
Standard, general curriculum, general classes, and then maybe pursuing some major based on what someone else thinks you should do. So my thought around this podcast is that we're going to save people time and money. So
Yeah.
when we talk about, and this is for both of you, the education piece and how you learned to perfect your craft, right? So you transitioned from IT, according to Star, you didn't really know how to do hair. I feel like I heard that. No. So you made that transition from one career to the other. Star, you were pursuing the pre-med track and then decided to shift gears. Talk to me about how formal education, specifically in the hair space, has played a role in your success.
Lenise, do you want to take this one over?
Would you like me to?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Y'all are so sweet.
You need to be on a postcard.
So I will say that, and I think this is probably true for a lot of stylists starting out. You kind of shy away from education because you can't afford it. But one of the things that somebody who helped mentor me along the way, she said, you have to stop, and I've learned to apply this in my life, but you have to stop thinking yourself out of how to do a thing and think of ways to make it happen. So instead of me saying that I couldn't afford a cutting class, I had to say, all right, if I put $15 away from each client, from each ticket that I make, I'll be able to take this class in 2 months. You know what I mean? So I had to start getting creative with how I was going to be able to afford education. And so once you start taking education, and then you go from taking a look and learn class to like a hands-on class, and then it's in you at that point, then you just don't want to go back. So it was key, because not only do you acquire a new skill, but you're then able to go back to the salon, raise your prices, but also find people where you can now put that new tool in play, in practice. So it's been very beneficial for me, because like I said, I couldn't do anything. I would watch the other girls in the salon, and but the thing is, you could be watching someone, but you can't necessarily say, well, why would you use this versus that? You can't always do that in a salon space. Now we do that in our space, but that's not always the case in every salon. So so it was really helpful for me to understand that.
My situation, of course, is going to be completely different from Lenise's, because I didn't have the responsibility of, life at that point. It was really just me. I was living with my grandparents, I believe. And to be honest, I looked up to a lot of the stylists at the salon that I was at, Lenise being one of those people. And I would look at them, and they would be going to classes, and they would be doing things. And I'd be like, I want to do that too. And I think I've kind of always had a serious FOMO thing going on, right? And so
it's so bad. It's so bad.
Okay.
Is it really? Yes.
And so a little FOMO is probably what really got it started. But then I was like, you know what? This is fun. And after your first like big show, my first big show actually was with Lenise, as I'm now thinking about it. We went to Premier Beauty in New York, and I just was like, oh my God, people literally do this. They get to do this all day, every day, and do classes and go to classes, and and so it really wasn't a savings thing. It was more of a, I can't miss out on what's going on, but also I want to be where these people who I look up to are. So let me do what they do. So.
And we had a lot of fun. And the other thing I will share is that kind of exposure, that is what actually put me on the path of becoming an educator from Mizani. So that's when I first saw like somebody on the stage teaching, and I was like, I could do that. So it exposes you to more than just learning a new skill, or having fun with your other peers.
Yeah.
But you see other opportunities, and there's so many different lanes you can take in the beauty industry. So it just kind of exposes you to all of that as well.
So I'm hearing a couple of things. One being maybe formal and informal mentorship, right?
Mhm.
So these are people who you've either said, let me shadow you, and we'll get into shadow day. Let me shadow you for a minute and see what you're doing and learn from you. And then there are others you just kind of watch and you start to pick up tidbits from along the way. I'm also hearing be intentional about your coins, right? Like you have to budget for the things you want. I know you're a mother, Star, but Lenise, you have a human child.
You.
Yes.
You have a human child, and there are expenses associated with both. But now your human child is an adult, and he probably costs a few extra dollars to be around you and be your, whatever purpose he serves. I don't know. We could talk about our kids all day, but sending love to him. Gotta love kids. But you had that extra mouth to feed. And so you had to be intentional about how you spent your money if you were going to grow in that space, right? So I'm sure you had mentors along the way as well, people who were educating you, but you had to come out of pocket, right? With some money to make that happen. And so you started working in the space and then set aside money to continue to grow, to then raise your price. So now I have another question. Because you two are business partners, right? Talk to me about that leap from kind of doing something solo, right, as a stylist, to then shifting into, let's say, out of your house, into a salon, out of your house, into partnership with someone. Talk to me about what that path potentially looks like, or look like for you two, and how you ensure it's successful, because not everyone can go into business with someone else. Some of us can't even live with someone else, much less go in.
Well,
we slid off. We did. It went that way. Went that way. Talk to us a little bit about how that transition occurred and sort of the keys to that success, being successful business owners together.
I just went off because Lenise got a lot more to share than I do. So to be quite honest, like I think that when you find, oh, this is gonna be real, work with me, guys.
Yes.
When you find your person, okay, when you find your person that that really that gets you, well, let me back up a little bit because I'm laying it on. Rolling into doing it by yourself for me it was an ultimatum kind of. It was someone asked me a question about, are you sure that you want to do one thing that I thought I had my heart dead set on, which was going to work in a salon with other people and doing that thing, and then versus me going into a single studio by myself. And when they asked me that question, at the time I had already, conquered being a celebrity stylist. I had traveled and did hair. I had moved to another state and did hair. I had done it all. So I was like, well, I've done all these things. Let me try this single thing by myself and see if I like it. And I did. And then fast forwarding into business partnership, me and Lenise in particular have always followed each other wherever we went. So the first salon we came, we didn't know each other, right? The next place, I followed her.
Okay.
The next place, she followed me. And then the next place she followed me technically, but I really was like coaxing her to come. So I'll say that was me that time. And I think that we kind of just have always understood each other. We respected each other. And, we really do meet each other where we're at. Like I can be very spoiled, and Lenise has her rigid moments, but we both understand that about each other. Yeah. And so not taking things personal and being able to separate the business from the friendship. Like I tell people all the time, when Lenise was my boss, she wrote me up, and we carried on like it was nothing at our normal cocktail hour.
She
Because
wrote you up?
oh yeah, I was acting up. Yeah.
That was problematic. She's had a wonderful journey.
You know, she wrote me up, but you know what? She did it, and I was like, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't have did that. So, you know, but we moved on, and I think a lot of business partners, unfortunately, can't move on.
Yeah.
And as we started to, you know, grow in our businesses together, we realized that we need other things like separation agreements, or if we do decide to part ways, just so we can, number one, preserve our friendship, but also preserve our business at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, I just found my person and I stuck with them. That's it. All right, okay, I'm done.
Oh, I love it.
It's very codependent.
Yeah.
That's what it's giving. It's giving toxic. It's giving a lot of things. But
At times it is very toxic. But she is the love of my life. No, I'm just like
I'm with it. I mean, you're laughing, but I think it's true.
I mean, it might be. It might.
So, but yeah, pretty much everything that Star said is true. My journey was a little different because I had a partnership before Star, and it was just not good. It was not good, and it scarred me. To be honest, it scarred me deeply. Because not only did I lose a partnership and a business that I had named, I lost a friend. So it was very traumatic. I was in a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've made it out on the other side. And so with Star, so just going back to the journey that she described, when she moved to her suite and then I moved to my suite in the same building, and then she left to go open her salon, her brick and mortar salon. And like, first of all of our clients were like, so when are you moving? When is Lenise moving? Like they already knew, it was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
But
we did not know.
Yeah, no. And Star, she did want me to move, but I just felt strongly about, number one, I was still very scarred from being in a partnership before.
Yeah.
And number two, Star really had not been an owner. She was owning her suite, absolutely. But a full brick and mortar salon where there were other stylists, she had not had that experience by herself. And I really felt strongly about allowing her that time to grow herself and get her footing as a leader.
Yep.
Without me, you know, without my influence. So she was great. I think in the long run, she was grateful for that. She had some learning curves, plural, and and then, you know, COVID hit, and it was just time. It was time. So and we wanted to work on things together, like some additional things together. So we decided to just partner up, move into the same space, and just see where things go. So yeah, it's been great. But like she said, to be honest, just coming from a bad situation to the partnership starting, I have the underlying thing that really allows us to thrive is that mutual respect. If that mutual respect does not exist, it is literally like a marriage. So if you go into a marriage and you don't really respect your husband, you're going to be talking to him crazy, be doing all this weird stuff. If that does not exist in a partnership, it is the same dynamic. So it's the same thing. So, yeah.
That's good. That mutual respect piece. And there's clearly love between the two of you. Very deep love.
It's sick. We know it's not healthy, but we know.
It works.
We do.
It works. And I think your clients absolutely love it. Listen, I'll speak for myself. I love it. Like, I get to like cut up. First, you know, I kind of felt y'all out. I'm like, okay, nice.
You're so nice.
You really get to cut up, even if it's just me on my way out the door, being a plum fool in the mirror, because I'm feeling myself. Like, there's an energy that you all bring to the salon that's much needed at a time when we're all dealing with stuff, right? Just stuff. Let me ask y'all this, right? recognizing that we call this the keys to the office, right? Where we talk about that pathway to success, um, for, corporate, for entrepreneurs. Um, as you think about that young woman or man who's, maybe in their 20s, give or take, or even in their teens, and thinking about going into this industry, what's one bit of advice that each of you could share? One major key that you'd say leads to being successful, even independent stylists, but then beyond that, successful business partners. And we talked about the mutual respect. So I know that's definitely in there. But what are you thinking, Lenise and Star, in terms of that major key to being successful?
I think first and foremost, finding a mentor so you can avoid the pitfalls. And what would be beneficial is if that mentor is also an accountability partner. So Star and I do a lot of that, like checks and balance thing. Girl, I'm doing this. What you think this is a good idea? Well, I'm gonna do the same thing. And people know when Star does something, I'm typically right behind her. If I do something, she's typically right behind me. So having that partnership, not even a business partnership, but just someone who you can be accountable to, and who will hold you accountable to what you've committed to, and somebody who can mentor you and kind of guide you on the right path, because you can just be out here lost trying to make decisions and make a really bad decision that costs you a whole lot of money when you could have just avoided it based on what a mentor would have shared. So that's my biggest takeaway or piece of advice.
I would say figure out what your why is. What's your end goal? Like, what do you want? And let me be very clear, the end goal changes all the time. Not all the time, but it does change.
It does change.
It does change. So figure out your why. Like at the core of it all, why do you want to do this? And what about it makes you so happy? And then I'm going to parlay that into going into the business partnership. Lenise mentioned this, I was very grateful for that time on my own. And that literally was the best time. It was a very hard time. It was the hardest time, I would say, probably of my career. But it was the best time because it really got it. I was able to see what kind of leader I did not want to be honest, versus the type of leader that I did want to be. And if at that time my why had shifted so much, I was like, all over the place. But at the core of it all, what do you love about it? And that's what kind of kept me grounded. So figuring out your why.
I love it. Let me ask y'all this, because the word mentorship has come up a lot. How does someone find a mentor in this space? Like next steps to do that. Like I want to learn, I want to grow. How do I find my person?
To be honest, I think, being in a space that you say you're not all the way there. For example, like me, I wasn't all the way there. I wasn't the most professional. I wasn't this, but I went somewhere that to me was the most professional, was the, cream of the crop. I went somewhere that I knew that I could become a better stylist. And that's how I found my first mentor, which was Dion Hughes of Image Enhancement Center. And well, she was my mentor since I was 5, y'all. That's all okay.
Wow.
But going into a place that you want to be is a good example. I mean, a good way to do it as a hairstylist. Another one is, being open and honest, sitting down, having conversations with stylists, and talking to them.
Open your mouth and ask, right? Because closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, and I think it was a little easier for us because we're in Richmond, and Richmond is a pretty small city, which means that our industry within the city is even smaller. So our network was pretty full. Like we knew other stylists, and so knowing that you've seen these other stylists, you know what they're about, just look at them and see who you want to be like, and reach out to them. Like you said, closed mouths don't get fed. So putting yourself in the spaces where they are going to be, watching them and just asking questions. And, and I think this really not even just for finding a mentor, but just being your authentic self so that you show up as yourself and people can appreciate that. If you show up trying to look like and act like somebody else, it's not going to work. So just being your true authentic self. Like Star says, she can be super spoiled sometimes.
That's it.
I can be very rigid and very like structured, and that's what I need. But I know who I am. I know my limitations and I know my challenges, and I'm just honest about that. But I need Star for that kind of stuff. Like, she's the big thinker, and I'm like, okay, well, how do we get that done?
Yeah.
And that's what I need. I need the how do we get it? How do we get it done? Right. So
yes. So kind of shifting and staying along the same lines as mentorship, talk to me a little bit about how you two mentor and teach other stylists, right? I know you have Shadow Day, which y'all are so cute. I love everything about the way you all do business, right? Like, it's energizing. And I actually thought about you two when I made the decision to leave corporate. Lenise, I've been talking about it a little bit in the chair. Talk to me a little bit about Shadow Day, right? And how you all are empowering and educating other stylists.
So we've kind of been in that space for a while. We started when I transitioned into my first partnership, and Star came over. We actually started as mentors with one of the tech centers here. And so we started working directly with students then. So that was kind of the first time that I don't know if that's true for you, Star, but that was kind of the first time where I was in a mentorship role, working directly with students. And then from there, because they would come and work with us, I also did I did these classes for teens. So for girl groups, summer camps, things like that, I would do little classes. And so it kind of put my name out there as someone who could mentor young girls, particularly girls who wanted to be in the beauty industry. And so people would kind of seek us out. So we had kind of been in that space for a while. And I think that, again, a bit for me, mentorship is really about being my authentic self and allowing people to see something beyond just being behind the chair. Because a lot of times mentors in our space will show you how to do hair and they'll show you how to cut, but they don't show you how to go and do your color inventory so you can figure out what you need for the next, what you need for the next week, how to put systems in place in your business. They don't show you those things. So it's just very important to me that we expose people to those kinds of things, which is how Shadow Day came about. You want to Star?
Let me just add a little piece to that, because everything she said is spot on. Like we said, our situations have mirrored each other. So yes, all of that is true for me. And something that I wanted to see when I was a mentee, which I actually did get an opportunity to see, and I won't name her because what I'm about to say is but it's a compliment, the most compliment. I watched someone go from very rough to a semi-refined stylist. And at the time, me being rough, I needed someone on my team that looked like me, right? Not someone who had it all together, not someone who had. So she ended up being a mentor later on to me because I watched her grow from this to this. And I think it's important that we don't forget where we came from, and we don't forget, like, you don't have to have it all together as a stylist to end up winning in the end, right? But, I was the mess showing up late with a bonnet on my head, all the things. And
I got the visual there.
So I think that people with the bonnet and, showing up late and, you coming in, walking in with your client like, hey girl, give me 20 minutes. I need to get myself settled. I think
that's a real thing.
You need to also hear from, you need to hear from someone who's had that experience, who was able to come out on the other side.
Yeah.
So seeing someone like you, I think is just very important and something that propelled me into wanting to be a mentor. And also we've had several mentees, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we had one in particular.
Tell a
Boy,
story.
she the gem. Alexis. I love her. We love her. We're obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? So we saw her go from, she was always the sweetest anyway, right? We saw her go from this sweet, quiet, you know, junior in high school to now a full-time stylist, college grad woman, like did her 4-year degree, came back and said, no, I want to do hair. Like, this is actually what I want to do. I did that, but I want to do this. And who knows, that could change. But just watching, being able to mentor her into now her full self, or her full self today, has just, it was so rewarding.
Yeah.
So it's something that I want to keep doing.
But I want to add to that too, because I think it's key. What Star said is key, like being able to have someone who looked like you, and just to not forget where you came from. But the challenge in that now that we're experiencing as mentors is accepting that we can't save everybody.
Cool.
Everybody doesn't want to go where
Yeah.
we're trying to go.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we're trying to work through now. Because it's you know, when you want to see people win, when you genuinely want to see people win, it's a hard pill to swallow when they don't really see it in themselves. It's a really hard pill to swallow. So
Yeah.
yeah, just learning to accept that, and again try to meet them where they are and just leave it there, you know.
Tell me what shadow day looks like.
Well, Shadow Day, a Parlor Republic Shadow Day. I don't think we said the name of our salon. So I'm Parlour, and Star is Healthy Hair Republic. So we just combined those. Star actually came up with this title, Parlor Republic. Shadow Day. And so it's a 2-part day where we invite stylists in. And really, it could be anybody in the beauty industry. We will eventually open this up to any self-employed people, really. But the first part of the day, we're going to talk about business, because again, we don't always, especially in our industry, we don't always learn about the business of beauty. So how to pay yourself, how to set your prices, how to develop systems in your business, how to find a team of like-minded people. Like, we don't learn those things. We just really learn how to do hair.
Yeah.
And so we're sharing those things. And then we're also going to be, part of that is also how to build your ticket. And so we just decided to do live models. So we'll be doing 2 live models where we talk through our process, and then how do we build that ticket price so that you are making what you want to make. But it's going to be fun. I'm so excited. This is our first time doing this, and I'm beyond excited.
And I'm nervous because Lenise knows this. I am not a teacher per se. I am a great wingman when it comes to teaching, but in terms of doing the full facilitation, my nerves get me. But so I'm happy to be doing it, but I am nervous, if I'm being honest.
It's okay. It's good to be nervous.
Yeah.
And to be honest, just from being a facilitator, the nerves for me come when I'm not 100% certain about the content. Once I know the content, and we've we've done this 2 or 3 times, it's gonna be easier.
Yeah. And y'all have each other, so y'all will be great.
I'm gonna be like, Lenise.
This was so awesome. Like, grinning ear to ear. This was everything I imagined it would be, and then some. Like, just a really good conversation full of nuggets for those, not just in the beauty industry, because I think about individuals who are going into other industries who don't take the time to invest in learning their craft, but also don't know the business side of doing business, because, you know, doing hair, cute, but actually having a business, there's so much more to it than that. I'm happy to have you ladies as like part of my circle of entrepreneurs to continue to pour into me when I'm in the shop or when I'm sitting in the chair. And I'm like, girl, I can't sleep at night. I'm up at 3 a.m. thinking about this and that. Like, I love it. I love y'all. And I'm done being sappy. So tell the people, how they can find you, how they can follow you, and how they can sign up for Shadow Day.
Okay.
You want to start, Star?
Yes, you can follow Lenise at Parlour. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna let her do it all. I'm gonna let her do it all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. See what I'm saying? We connected. Okay.
Y'all are a mess. A mess.
You can follow me at the Hair Mogul on Instagram. That's the TheHairMogul. And you can sign up for Shadow Day by clicking the link in my bio.
You can follow me on Facebook as well as Instagram at ParlourRVA. That's ParlourRVA. And then also the link in my bio it's a link tree. So it has the link to Shadow Day there. But I post all kinds of stuff, tips, whatever personal life stuff I try to keep to my stories. But please definitely follow us. We need more followers. I do.
Yes, we do. We do. We really do.
Will we see the dog? The little human?
No, because Lenise said I had to put him away for this. So
thank you.
Well.
Oh, rigid Lenise.
I mean, blocking mama shine.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much. I know this will help so many. I'm beyond grateful for the time you all carved out on this Saturday morning to chat with us. So thank you. And I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.